Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Manoj Atri, your host for tonight. My name is Manoj Atri. I'm a real estate agent with Remax Hallmark. And thank you for joining. We are again today with our expert, Faisal Garcia. Faisal, you are live now for a moment. You can. Okay, so we can't hear you again. Okay, so you may have to, yeah.
This time it was my
This,
technical.
yes, I think so. We have today.
almost mastered it.
Yes, I think so. We are finally we are in business with, and we'll be able to go through whatever what you had to walk us through. So the sound is there, so that's the biggest step that we needed to resolve, and I
Yep.
think so we have done that. Okay, so let me. I'll get back to you again, Faisal, as soon as we
Perfect.
get back to
Thank
the
you.
detailing there of yours. And so, just to update our audience, that Faisal Garcia, mortgage agent, is there today, the expert there, and we will be referring him off and on. And so let's get into the day agenda. Again, thank you for joining. I am the Manoj Atri with Remax Hallmark. So let's go through what are the agendas for today. And today we are going to cover, initially in my real estate monologue, I am going to cover power of sale homes. Lots of people have at numerous times have asked me various questions regarding power of sale, and I am going to dwell into this particular one and give you an insight into power of sale, foreclosures, which when it has become a deal, and we'll go through a few articles, and I'll go through a live example today in layman terms, and will help you understand what are these power of sale homes and how to indulge into this. Next break, we will be getting our mortgage expert to review an article for us. Home buyers need more detailed info. This was the one that we were trying to cover last week. We couldn't exactly because of the sound issues, but I think so we have resolved that today. So we will get into his expertise on the article, and he will also guide us through other things that are going on in the latest market trends these days. Lastly, we'll cover our rent-to-own homes, and we have Plan of Action Part 1 and Plan of Action Part 2. So we'll be trying to cover both of them today. Okay, so let's get into this particular one, and let's start with our first article today regarding power of sale homes. Okay, there we go. Okay, so before I jump into the whole thing, I mean, this is the clarification that we'll try to get you addressed to. Most of you keep on asking me, like, what exactly is power of sale and what exactly is a foreclosure? So we will try to give you the meaning of power of sale. I'll also try to give you the meaning of foreclosure. Then we'll go through the differences, and then we'll review some of the articles regarding those ones. So let's start with, first is the power of sale. Okay, now, easy to understand. I'll go slow so that you can comprehend this. In Ontario, a mortgage lender has the right to take possession of a property if mortgage payments are not made using either the power of sale or foreclosure process. So if you have not been able to pay your mortgage payments, then they have the right to take possession of your property, and they can do it through a power of sale or a foreclosure process. The two processes can result in very different outcomes for a homeowner, and we'll in the next few lines we'll show you how these two may have different outcomes. But many homeowners do not know the difference between these processes. So that's what we'll try to address the power of sale, we'll try to address the foreclosure, and we'll try to give you the differences between the two. Depending on which process is used, the timeline and the amount the homeowner receives after the process is can be a vastly difference. And we'll show you the power of sale takes lesser time and the foreclosure takes more time, and the money part also is quite a different. So we'll get into this particular one. Okay, so now let's head to the next part here. In a power of sale, the mortgage lender is able to evict the property occupants and sell the property if the borrower is in default of the mortgage. So he is able to get you evicted easily. I mean, that is what comes into a power of sale. Whereas in a foreclosure, it is completely different. So I'll walk you through those ones. The lender has a duty to sell the property at fair market value, and understand this very clearly, because in my example I am going to walk you through how this becomes a fair market value, and you have to make sure you understand that at that particular stage. So the lender has a duty. He has a duty to sell it at a property at a fair market value. And the property cannot be sold at a deep discount. So I mean, the reason he cannot you can go back and you can sue the lender or the mortgage lender, because I am not able to pay your mortgage, but you can't throw this property just like that. So that is why they cannot sell the property at a deep discount. After the property is sold, the former homeowner has the right to any profits from the sale after deducting debt repayment and fees. Yes, so his money is involved there. So they cannot go, they have to substantiate, like, okay, even if they are selling it at a particular price, they have to explain why did they sell it at this particular price. So that's why they cannot sell it at a deep discount. It's very important to understand this, and this is happening in a power of sale. In the foreclosure, it's completely different. Since all the excess profit from the sale goes to the former homeowner, lenders typically do not earn additional profit from completing the power of sale. So basically, I mean, they have their office expenses and what all other expenses are there, but they're not getting additional money apart from that in a power of sale process. Now, power of sale is a much faster process than foreclosure and requires less involvement from the court system. In a foreclosure, let's go through the next paragraph there, then I'll explain you that, but you will understand that power of sale is a much faster process than foreclosure. Most power of sales can be completed within 6 months, but a foreclosure can take over a year to complete. So these are some of the major differences, and the lender may choose to act accordingly. Let's go through the foreclosure process. In the foreclosure process, the lender is able to take the title of the property. Okay, so in this particular case, no, but in a foreclosure process, the lender can take over the title. With foreclosure, the lender must sue the borrower in court and wait the courts to issue judgment. So the foreclosure process will start once the lender has taken you to court and the court has issued a judgment, which is very different than a power of sale. Once the foreclosure is finished, the lender takes title to the property and the former homeowner is not entitled to any future profits from the sale of the property. So that is the difference there. I mean, if it's a loss or if it's a profit, the lender keeps both. It's his money because he has now taken over the title of the property. This means that if the value of the mortgage is much less than the value of the property, the lender is able to make a large amount of money using foreclosure. So the lender will weigh it out what exactly is in his best interest and may act accordingly, and he has the option of going either power of sale or a foreclosure. Okay, in both these cases they begin with a notice of sale, then a 35 to 40 day period the statement of claim is sent, followed by the writ of possessions. So the process goes along in this particular one. So this is a general format, and let me now take you to the next article. So let me get the next article where we are going to go through the differences in power of sale and in a foreclosure property. So let me see if I can zoom this one more for you guys, so that, yes, okay, so now let's go through. We have got a bit of an idea where exactly we were, but now let's go through power of sale descriptions, the differences between the two of them. Okay, as we discussed just now, in a power of sale, the ownership of the property does not change hands till the subject property is sold. So it is you, the bank may be selling it, but the title remains in your name. A realtor may be used depending upon the jurisdiction, and most of the time the bank sales, they list it on the MLS, so that is why a realtor may be used. Extra money is given back to the homeowner, very important here. In case of a shortfall, the owner is responsible. So that is where things are. So in case if the difference is huge, the bank can come back to you and get their funds there. No sale. The sale is normally done fast, but no fire sale. Fire sale is very, very much prominent in I think so in US maybe. So we'll have to go through that one. But I mean, it is normally done. It is normally done fast, but it's not a fire sale. The offers from the buyer should be carefully examined, and the lawyers will go back and forth and making sure they are covering all the angles there and making sure that they're taking care of the homeowner, though he has lost the property in the power of sale. The homeowner may request an accounting, very important, and the homeowner can get back to them and request, okay, what did you do with my, let me see all the numbers there. It is his right and he can do that. Default insurance claim. Okay, now most of the time, as we have in our previous webinars explained you, that when you are paying less than 20% down payment, the property is insured, and by CMHC, Genworth, or Canada Guarantee, the lender may not be able to get the full money back. There is a possibility he may lose some money, and if the property is insured against a default, then the lender can make a claim and the insurer will pay the lender because that's what he's insuring for. We had told you the banks are lending close to 75 and 80%, and the rest of the money you may have 5% or 10% down payment, and the difference is being paid by the insurer. So now if the lender is in short, then he may claim that money from the insurer and sue the homeowner for that amount. And if something falls still short, then there is a possibility that they may sue the homeowner for that amount. Now let's see what is the difference between the two. So let's seek the information on foreclosure. The lender becomes the owner. So now the title is with the lender. So whether he makes money, whether he loses money, he has taken the title of the ownership. Lender pays less attention to the price because now this is his property. Whether he must have calculated all his numbers and must have figured it out what is the best way for him to go about it. And so I mean, he has already done his homework before he gets into choosing which one alternative he would like to work with. The lender does not need to negotiate with the prospective buyer. Okay, yeah. So I mean, he can put any price and go up and down accordingly, and he is now the owner of the property. So he's basically like almost like a seller. The seller may act in a different way, and same thing in a foreclosure, the lender may act in a different way. Any extra money belongs to the lender, so as any loss. So whether it is a profit or a loss, it's his money, it is his stuff on the line. The mortgager has the right to have the property sold by judicial sale. So there are some rights involved here. Right of owner, the owner may request for an accounting before the final order for foreclosure. So there may be some number before the judgment is issued, he may have a request for an accounting. So those are some of the highlighted differences between a power of sale and foreclosure. Let's see if I can get you the next article now. Okay, so let's go to the next article. And this particular article, now all these links are there in the live stream at the below, and whenever you will add to that, like all those links are there and you can actually see. The reason I'm putting here is these are the Mortgages Act, and when you go through these links, you will be able to, if you want to go into the details of it, what exactly is happening, you can go for this link, you can download it, print it, and these are the contents for that particular one. Rights and obligation of mortgagors and mortgagee. Statutory powers, notice of exercising power of sale, general provisions as to power of sale, mortgagees in possession of rental residential premises. So the basic thing here is these are the headlines. You can get more information about the power of sale if you want to get into the detail of any of these ones. Okay, so now let's head to another interesting article and let me take you there then. Okay, this is a very interesting article and by Toronto Star. It says, and I want to walk you through here. Interested in buying a power of sale property? Keep your emotions in check. Very, very important. And we are going to go through some of the details here, and you'll be amazed at what all intricacies are involved, and you can take care of them. Okay, so let's go through this particular stuff, which says what needs to be considered when buying a power of sale home. Okay, so let's dwell into it more. Okay, give me a moment. When a home is being sold by power of sale, it means the mortgage lender, not the homeowner, is selling the property. So I have given you a brief. You have understood that part, and now let's go through some of this part. You've already understood that the property is now being sold by a mortgage lender and not the homeowner is selling the property. Don't expect to get a discount just because the emotional attachment of the homeowner is removed from the equation. That's what I was telling you earlier. The lender has to be very, very careful in selling this property because the owner may come back and request all the accounting, may sue the bank in case if they have thrown it at a very discounted price. The lender is obligated by law to get market value for the property. So that remember this one, because this market value, I'm going to explain it to you, in detail and in layman's term how this happens. Speaking of emotion, don't fall in love with the refrigerator or any other appliances, because they may be there, they may not be there at the time of closing. And you'll be, by the time we complete one or two more articles, you will understand what we are getting into. So that is where, speaking of emotion, don't fall in love with the appliances or the refrigerator there. They won't be included in the sale if the lender does not have ownership of these appliances. So very important. It may be, you may find that before the closing, all those appliances have been taken over by the owner. He did not have a claim for that. Next, be aware that the lender will not give any warranties about the condition of the property. The bank may not have even visited the property. They are not going to give you any kind of warranties. And that is why whenever you see a property that is for sale, that means it will be sold in as is condition. So whenever you will go through the power of sale offers, you will see, or the listing, most of the time it will be written in as is, whereas, and those are the things that we are. So they are just trying to sell you the property in as is condition. Very important to be understood. A homeowner in the process of losing their home may not be able or motivated to keep up good home maintenance or repair. Yes, and that is very important to see. So, like, let's say suppose whatever you see on the time of the offer, that same condition may not be there. That has to be checked up also, like whether those things remain there or not, because the lender is not warranting anything. As with any property, the best way to protect yourself is to make sure any offer you submit is conditional on your satisfaction with a home inspection. Absolutely 100% highly required that a power of sale property and you go through a home inspection, because you do not know what is hidden there. So it's very important to go through this particular format there. You should know the lender may include a clause that gives the owner a right of redemption. Very important. Let's explain you what this right of redemption means. It means the sale can be called off if the owner brings the mortgage back into good standing with the lender before the deal closes. Okay, so it is a possibility that he may that clause has to be reviewed by your lawyer, that the owner still has a right of redemption. There are legal issues to consider if the property is occupied either by the owner or the tenants. Very important. So whenever you are seeing a property, and if the property is in power of sale and the owner is still there or the tenants are still there, it's a different ballgame. If you're interested in keeping tenants on to help with the mortgage, speak with your lawyer about your rights and responsibilities. Very important. In any case, these documents in a power of sale has a Schedule B, which is like completely intricate and through so many clauses that it is always 100% advisable, strongly advisable, that your lawyer reviews this whole particular thing. Finally, you will want a lawyer to review all the documents associated with the transaction to ensure that the title to the house is properly in your name. No liens, nothing. So many hidden stuffs are there. Making sure everything is taken into a proper account. So the end format, just to tell you here, is it is important to make sure you are covered in all respects. Okay, so now let's take you to the next article. This is an article by the Real Estate Council of Ontario. I am thinking about buying a power of sale home. Is there anything I need to know? Okay, we'll just go through fast because we have understood some of the things A home is sold by power of sale when the homeowner defaults on the mortgage. We know that. The bank then sells the property in order to cover the amount still owing to the mortgage. We have understood that part. It's not a fire sale. People are often attracted to the power of sale properties. This is what, because they expect to get a deal on the purchase. So very important. They're thinking it's a deal. And that is what I'm going to explain you in layman terms, how and when it becomes a deal and what exactly happens there. In fact, banks are obligated to get market value. Okay, so those things I'm going to explain you there. I highly recommend a home inspection from a qualified home inspector, engineer, or contractor. Very important. They can identify underlying problems with the home's major system, heating, cooling, electrical, foundation, and so forth. So very, very important. I'm slightly trying to go fast so that I can cover everything there. Your lawyer will also perform a title search to identify potential issues, including liens against the property, and will review the lengthy documentation that the bank will provide. That's what I said. There is a Schedule B, which is extremely lengthy, and it has intricate clauses and details, and your lawyer should be able to review and guide you there. The bank may also retain the right to call off the deal if the owner catches up on their mortgage payments before the deal closes. Although in practice, banks rarely cancel a sale. I mean, I haven't seen it because, see, the reason they are in power of sale is because they could not come up with the funds. But they still have a right, after they have gone into a power of sale, they may win a lottery and they may want to come back and get their they're attached to that house and they may want to come back there. It's still a good idea to find out if they will include a right of redemption clause in the agreement of purchase and sale. Very important. Discuss this with your lawyer, that is that clause included or not included. There's nothing wrong with considering a power of sale home, but it is crucial to do so with your eyes open to potential issues. Very important. You have to go slightly an extra mile in procuring this particular one, and that is what we are trying to walk you through and trying to get you to understand this particular one. Now, okay, there is another article before I, yes, okay. Let me get you to the article now. Okay, let's get into this important article. Can such properties offer buyers a good deal? This is what is the most important one idea, because that is why you are looking at these particular properties, that whether it can become a good deal or not. Okay, so let's see if it can become a good deal or not. Let me get it one step down. Okay. Many people ask me to find bank sales, but they are not a good deal in Canada, where lenders are forced to sell the properties for fair market value. Okay, because most of the people coming from the US, they find, okay, we are not getting that much of a deal in here, whereas in US, you get a very good deal in a foreclosure or a bank sale. So that is why there is, like here, the lenders are forced to sell the properties for fair market value. The government makes sure that, well, you are not like discounted heavily. Your property is not discounted heavily. And there are procedures in place to ensure that happens. For example, such properties must be listed on MLS system. They must have their undergone appropriate appraisals by qualified accredited professionals, and they must be listed for a sale for a reasonable amount of time. It is not that you can just throw it just like any other. You just want to get out of it. I think there are better places to get a deal. Very important. And this is also what I'm going to explain you in my layman terms there. Okay. In a situation like this, the home buyer is buying a home in as is where is condition. I've already explained you this much, whereby no disclosures or warranties. There are no appliances, and those that are there may or may not work. That also includes a furnace. The negotiations may take quite some time and will occur only during business hours and not face to face. It can be difficult to negotiate a lower price because the threat of underselling resulting in a lawsuit brought on by the borrower. So those are the things that I've walked you through already. Potential buyers must keep in mind that uncertainties could arise when there are no warranties in place, so they should have deep pockets just in case some expensive issues arise. They might not be completely certain if the furnace, other major systems function properly. If there should be a mold or pest infestation present at the property, it would be buyer's problem to clear up such a problem with no recourse. There are no disclosures, as the bank may never even have seen the property, so there will be no mention of prior illegal activities or on-site trauma or any other damages like a flooded basement. Buying a home that the bank took over is something that novices should avoid. They can be more trouble than they are worth. So it is, again, just making sure that you do your homework before you purchase this particular kind of a property. Okay, now I am going through the last article, and then I will take you to something else. Let's see. Okay, let's head to the last article for the day. And again, this is where I wanted, when you hear the words, the property is under power of sale, immediately you envisage a great deal. Okay, I'm going to explain you this term great deal again shortly. It may seem that you can pick up a property for a song. No, it's not the case. Again, I'll go through some fast lines here. Usually in an ordinary real estate transaction, the seller has owned the property and is selling it. The seller will provide to the buyer certain statements as, okay, in a real estate transaction, the seller may provide you with certain statements as to building and zoning compliance, urea formaldehyde foam insulation, payments of utilities, payments of property taxes, the existence of tenants, contamination of lands, etc. This does not happen in a power of sale proceeding, so you are taking all the risk there. In a power of sale proceeding, it may not be the owner but the mortgagee who is selling the property. That's already I've explained you numerous times now. The mortgagee is obligated to obtain a fair market value. I've walked you through this. As the mortgagee is not the owner, however, the mortgagee cannot provide the buyer with the same guarantees. Same thing. We are just reiterating it so that you can comprehend and understand, therefore. The purchaser may not get a statement from the mortgagee that there is no urea formaldehyde foam insulation in the property, that the utilities are paid up to date, and there is a last month deposit for the tenants. So you have to do the extra checking up in this particular case. The mortgagee will not know if proper permits were obtained for any renovations and additions to the building. Very important. You may have to go and get all that particular stuff done on your own. Check with the city that if there are any work permits or not. So those are the things. The mortgagee is not obligated to provide a declaration of possession for any issues dealing with the use of the land. Mortgagee providing a survey declaration for the positioning of the building on the lands and things like that. While title insurance may insure you against some of these risks, it cannot insure you against all the risks associated with a power of sale proceeding. Very, very important to understand that this is where things are. Okay, so now let me take you to one of the next steps. That is what I was trying to explain it to you. So this is my I think so I'm going to cover it from a layman terms. Okay, just bear with me and I'll walk you through what exactly happens in a power of sale and where some of the myths are, that has it become a deal or not. So let's go through this power of sale. I'm using POS in my other terminologies. So just whenever you see a power of sale, you understand he's dealing it with power, POS. Okay, I am taking now an example of a semi-detached property. The reason I'm taking of a semi-detached is because I'm going to show you the difference between an owner sale and a power of sale. And I'm going to walk you through some of the numbers so that you can understand. Okay, let's say on the left hand side, this semi-detached property is being sold by the owner. So this is for sale by owner. On the right hand side, this property is being sold as a power of sale by a bank. Okay, very clear. And the reason I'm trying to explain you is because both the properties are in the same neighborhood. They're the exactly same properties, one on the left and one on the right. So you can comprehend that we are not talking about two different areas or two different properties. So that's why I've chosen an example of a semi-detached. Okay, now the owner wants to sell his property and he may call a real estate agent and ask him, okay, can you give me what is the value of my property? So the owner has now called a realtor to get that particular information from him. In case of a bank, the bank may call a realtor, and also the bank will call an appraiser. So they'll try to get more information about that particular one. They'll ask realtors to send them a comparable CMS, and they'll also get an appraisal to get them the value of the property. So they are trying to make sure they are covering everything. Now let's say as a realtor, I go there and I tell them that the value of this property is $500,000. I'm just keeping round numbers, so make it easy for everyone to understand. Okay, now on the right hand side, the bank also calls the realtor and an appraisal, and they have also come up with that the value of the property is $500,000. So both the values are absolutely the same, and because they are same condition, same neighborhood, same next to areas, same locations, same side by side, both were absolutely similar properties. Okay, now this becomes important here. The owner may decide and say, okay, I am not in a hurry and I want to get maximum amount of money for my property, and let me list it for $50,000 extra. I've just added these numbers to show you how a realtor and an owner may think it over, and they say, okay, it's a supply and demand. Let's see how things go. Let's list it for $550 and see where things are. Now, the bank property, the bank are not in a business of making money. They are in the process of selling it right. The value is 500 and they have gone through all their numbers crunching. They don't want to waste time here, but they would like to get their funds back, and they are covering absolutely the value is 500 only. So they will list the property as 500. Now you as a buyer see both the properties listed. You see this property is 550 and this property is 500, and you immediately feel that the property by the bank is a deal and the left hand side property is not a deal. So you're figuring that the property, because both the properties, and you're seeing both of their numbers on the listing price, and you're seeing one is selling for 550 and the other one is 500, and you figure, oh, the power of sale property is it's a big deal. No, it is not. When the power of sale property comes in the market, it is at market value. And by chance, let's say suppose if it has come low and you have done all the number crunching and you have figured that the other property is still higher, the power of sale property may be requiring more work. You may not have seen it. So when the property on day one comes in the market, the power of sale property is at market value, and it is not a deal. It is the value of that property, and that is what we were going through some of these particular articles that I was explaining you, that that is so this myth has to be clarified to you when you are trying to purchase a property. This is at market value, and this is an overpriced property, exactly in right amount. It can be a different equation for supply and demand, whatever it can be. But if you're seeing these two numbers, you have to make sure you do your more due diligence and get the number right. But this exactly is at market value. Now, let's go through step number 2. The bank will be reviewing this particular property in 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. And if the property is not selling, and at a certain stage, they will be then lowering the prices accordingly, and it may become a deal. It is not a deal on day one. But yes, after a period of time, it has been lying there in the market. Now, even if the person who has lost this property to the bank and comes back and says, at why did you lower the price, they would be willing to have that back. And we have tried for 60 days, there is no offer. We have tried for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, nothing is happening. And that's why we are reducing the price accordingly. So it may become a deal over a period of time, not on day one. Now, I'll guide you here, and that is what I was referring you in the article there. Other properties may be deals. So if you are trying to purchase a property, whenever you are, don't concentrate just on power of sale. Go in a particular area, look for 10 or 15 properties, and then if one of them is a power of sale, then you should be able to compare that and figure it out whether it has become a deal or not. So just do not have at the back of your mind, if it's a power of sale, it's a deal. No. Do your due diligence. It may become a deal, but it may not be on day one. So that is the, in layman terms, that is what I was wanting to guide you through. And there may be other properties for you to check into, and that is very important. Okay, so now let's head up to our expert there, and let's get him on. Let's get his reaction to this particular whatever I did, which was quite a long one. Yes, Faisal,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
And your reactions. Your reactions.
I did hear the entire thing.
Yes, I saw you that.
Power of sale, and it's a complicated topic, but let me just explain you from the financing point, because
Sure.
that's what makes a big difference. From financing point, when you're buying a property of that nature, that property is most times it's not in as good of a shape.
Yes, true.
Number two, the upkeep of that property has been avoided. So, for instance, you may find the basement sometimes leaky, the gutters are not cleaned, the roof is not in as good of a shape. Essentially, the person who lost that property lost because they did not have money to pay.
Yes.
Which also means that they did not have money to keep the upkeep of a home.
Yes.
Because paying a mortgage is a need, and then people sort of keep up with small things like cutting the grass. If they cannot do it, they will pay someone. But if they have limited funds, then they'll pay the mortgage, but they won't cut the grass.
Yes.
Or so on. Like, it's a needs and wants differentiation. So most times I find these properties are not as good of a value, I mean, their value, they have a market price, but their value compared to other properties in the market are not as good. Also, from financing point of view, there is always an appraisal on these properties. And because there is an appraisal, it may or may not come up to the value that you purchased for. What I mean by that is, let's just say the property is 500,000, the one that you showed in the picture. 500,000 is the property, but because the condition of the property is below market condition of other similar properties, it may appraise for 470, let's just say. And if your client is buying with a 5% down, they have to come up with the 5% and they have to come up with the difference of the appraised value and the purchase price, which means 5% of 470 plus the 30,000 plus the closing cost, obviously. And when they buy that property, after that they have to do the fix up on their own.
Yes, that money has to come out from them.
Yes. Now, because that property was 30,000, the upkeep was 30,000 less, they have put in some more money for it to be habitable. That's the key word.
Yes, and also in case if like the property is tenanted, then they may even whack up the appliances.
Exactly.
You may apart from the renovation part, you may have to get the appliances there, which is like not cheap.
So I have seen some properties that are power of sales, and they don't even have doors on that property.
Yeah,
inside bedroom doors are missing.
Floors
The
are missing.
locks are missing. Fridges don't exist. The big one is the dishwasher is gone.
Yeah.
Always. I've seen about 9 or 10 of them. You showed me most of them. And yeah, stove is missing. Anything of value is gone from the property.
Yeah. The end result is that everyone has to be extremely careful whenever you're trying to purchase this kind of property.
And it's definitely not I would not strongly not suggest for the first time buyer.
Yes,
unless
I mean
you have that amount of cash.
Yes,
because
you require extra amounts of funds. You may get a deal below the market value, but the amounts that you would require, those has to come out from your own pocket. Those numbers are there.
Yeah.
Okay, Faisal, I think so. We are running on time just to cover the rent to own format now. So I will take them there and try to cover the plan of action. Thank you again.
Perfect.
Very
Thank you
much for being there.
Thank you, ladies and
Really
gentlemen.
appreciate and I think so. We are happy to have you with sound back, and we are reaching.
I am happy to be here with the sound. Believe me. I made sure that we do everything.
Awesome.
Thank you,
so
sir.
hang
Thank
in
you.
there. We'll may ask you for something more, but if
Okay.
you want to turn off
I'll
your
be on
mic,
standby.
you're
Thank
fine
you.
with that. Yes. Okay, so let's get into the rent to own request that we are now trying to do the plan of action. Okay, so we had to cut on that article because I took more time than desired on the power of sale. So we will get our expert to review the article for next time. And before that, let's try to wrap up the plan of actions. Now, we have last time we have given you some idea about rent to own, and we have given you why we call it a smart rent to own program. And now let's explain you things to do before getting started. Okay, I have 2 sheets of plan of actions, and I'll go slowly so that you can understand where things are. Now, before you do anything, these are very, very easy things to do. And I'll explain it to you why it makes it very easy for, it's like doing your homework to do anything. And this is a big purchase. Every time you follow these steps, and we will show you, you will save money. The first thing here is obtain your credit score. Very, very important. Because these are the 4 challenges that we are dealing with that I've told you: credit score, down payment, income, and then trying to find a property in your price range. It's a step-by-step process, and we have to make sure that we follow these steps, and you will save money if you just follow these particular steps. For free credit scores, we are giving you some of the websites where you can get it for free. One is creditkarma.ca. There you can go and get this information for free. There is another website, borrowwell.com, where you can also get it for free. Even in Equifax, you have a form, and you can email it to me. I can send it over to you, that where you can fill it out, and it may take you some time for them to send that report to you. But yes, even from Equifax, you can get it for free. Next, very, very important thing: calculate your annual gross income. Very, very important, because this is how you qualify for the property value. Yearly income as declared on your taxes. Annual gross income is the income that we are talking about. Yearly income as declared in your taxes. 2 years average net income for self-employed people. On line 150, how much are you declaring? So that is what will formulate that one. Next, calculate the property qualifying amounts. Extremely important. On the basis of the annual gross income, you can come to know how much you will qualify for a property. Now, multiply your annual gross income by 4 times for a condo. So let's say, suppose your annual gross income is $100,000. The combined income for yourself and your spouse is $100,000. So you multiply it by 4 times, and you can now say, I will qualify for any property for a condo up to $400,000. Simple. These are thumb rules. We'll get into the details more, because now the mortgage broker may go through into how much is your debt and all other things. But to just get you some rough ideas, that is what we are giving you initially. For a freehold property, multiplied by 5 times the income. Now, these are thumb rules for basics. They may go down to 4.5% if the property value is going more than $500,000 or something. And also the condo qualifying may go different depending upon the maintenance amounts of the property. These are general thumb rules to give you some basic ideas. Now, you can go online and review listings meeting your price range. So you calculated your income, that was $100,000. Now you know you qualify $400 for a condo, $500 for a freehold properties. Go online, and let's give you some of the websites where you can go online and figure it out. How much would you qualify for? What are the properties in your price range? Because I told you there are 4 challenges. The first challenge was the credit score. We need to know what is your credit score, whether a rent-to-own program is good for you, whether you should repair your credit, or whether you should go for buying outright. And we are assisting you all the way there. Second challenge was, we need to know what is your annual gross income. And now you can have your own income. You can bring your, if the income is less, you can talk to your family members, ask them to go and check their credit score. So when you call me, these 2 things should be there for you. Annual gross income should be there, credit score should be there, and that will assist you in guiding where you stand with the whole whether it is buying, whether it is trying to do rent to own. You know exactly what it is. Then go online, and these are some of the websites that have all the listings in all the areas. Realtor.ca. Now go and look for properties up to $500,000, detached properties. That includes the freehold townhouses, semi-detached, linked properties, detached properties. Go through them and see in which areas are you finding properties in your price range. There is another website which is called trebhome.com. Go there. They are getting getting uploaded, and most effective MLS listings are there. Go through them, and this will give you an exact where you stand, which area are you looking into, what properties are you looking for, and how they are meeting your price range. So that's your plan of action number 1. Wonderful. So if you these are all there, and I can always send you. Now let's go through a second plan of action. These two plan of actions will completely cover you where you stand with. This is very, very important, and that is getting your mortgage pre-approval. Do not go and start seeing properties without the pre-approval, because on the rough estimate, now you know, okay, I have this much income and this is, I have multiplied it, but you have not gone through what are the debts that you have, what are the car loans you have, what are the other obligations you have, and if by chance there are certain other issues in your credit scores and in which you have no clue about. So get the mortgage approval done. You can seek us to send you a complete mortgage pre-approval online application. Fill it. We have the expert waiting there. It is good that you reminded. At this particular moment, let me take you to two of his websites where you can actually see this one. So give me 1 minute, and I was wanting to guide you with two of his websites anyway. So let me take you to, at this important juncture, to two of his websites, and that is, first one is faisalgarcia.com. So this is one of the websites where you can fill in a mortgage application. Also, how to apply, you have it there, and apply now. These are all things going right around there. You can apply there, and he will be more than happy to guide you exactly what you need to do. Email credit score and a full credit report for review. Again, this is very important. So this complete package gives you where exactly you stand. Again, now I will take the opportunity to take to his another website, which was, and that way I can guide you there. And that is his credit repair website. Let's see if we can get that loaded there. And once it is loaded, yes, it is here. So let me get onto this particular website. Yes, so that website is right here. Again, it's called creditrepairnow.ca. So this will give you an idea. You can request him if you are in need of a credit repair. Okay, so our second agenda was to email the credit score and full credit report for review. These things you need to do, plans of action, before you even start going and seeing properties. This will save you tons of dollars when you are trying to purchase a property, which I may dwell into at a later stage. Now, whether you are buying or whether you are doing rent to own, mortgage specialists to review and update best alternatives. That is when we will tell you which is the best format for you, whether you should go for rent to own, whether you should be doing your credit repair, because credit repair may take even faster for you to purchase the home rather than getting into a rent to own program where you are minimum stuck up for another 1 year. And in my previous webinars, I've already told you, rent to own is a very costly program. It is the worst case scenario. And that is why we are experts to address that situation also. So we are addressing the worst case scenario. But I mean, you have to make sure that in case if you have better alternatives, that's why we have a smart rent to own program, that you do not have to go through that program. We have other better alternatives. And if we can get you the property right away, it may be in your interest to get that addressed. And that is where, once we have all this particular information of yours with the mortgage pre-approval and everything, we will be able to guide you whether buying outright is your best alternative or going through a rent to own program is your best alternative. And then we will schedule a meeting with you and walk you through all the details there. So these two plans of action will take us absolutely in your path to your dream home. Okay, so I think so. This is the agenda for today. And now let me see if I can get two of the things addressed to you. Let me get you on this two particular things. Okay, let me go there. Let's take you, we are done for those two plans of action for today. We're almost touching 8 o'clock. I'll take a short minute or two and guide you through these two websites. This is my power of sale listings, where if you fill it out, I can always email you all the power of sale listings that are there in the market once you fill out all your information. And you can request easily minimum price range you have in mind, maximum price range, number of bedroom, which area you're looking at. Put in all your information and send it over to me. I will send you by email all the latest power of sale listings which are there on the MLS, because you may not on your own, you may be having trouble finding it out, like which one is a power of sale property and which one is a regular property. Okay, so let me see. Okay, we have the plan of actions, and let me again, before I conclude, I always guide you with this particular website, and let me see. Yes, I have this particular website up, and let me get it there for you right up front. Okay, we are there on that website, which is called, this is the one that I have as MA in Real Estate, where this is a web where you can subscribe to this email newsletter, where I daily curate 8 to 10 articles and email it to you, giving you the latest that is going on in the market. And this one was the latest one that I sent it over to today to all my subscribers, how a more transparent bidding process can improve Toronto real estate. So as you may be hearing online, like an open bidding system may be coming in the market. So lots of talk is going on, and let's see if that formulates down the line. But when you subscribe to this particular newsletter, you can register here and you can get all that particular information. Again, all these web links are in the below the live streaming. When you click on search more, you can get access to all of them. And that concludes our day agenda for today. I am grateful to the mortgage expert, and let's say bye to him. And hi. Okay, Faisal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you again for the soundtrack. Really, we managed to get there, and very, very, everyone will be very happy to hear you. And
thank you, sir.
Probably, I think so. Maybe next time I'll keep some portion of my shot and go into details, because I wasn't sure about the sound today. And but now if this has worked, this has like I'll get you to with lots of because people have lots of queries, because the main thing here is you play an extremely important role here. If the financing is there not there, I cannot no one can do anything about it.
No, that is true. And see, with you doing this, it adds such a big convenience in today's life, where people have kids. They are, some of you go to work, come home, do some cooking. You barely have enough time to get out of your daily schedule, but you want to buy a home and you don't know what steps to take. So this whole webinar is beautiful. It's from your comfort of your home. You can watch and follow through, because we follow these topics, and all of these topics at the end of the day, they touch on how you can be a homeowner.
Appreciate that. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So next week I'll be covering the buying process, and because lots of people they do not know the steps to buying, so
Yeah.
I'll be covering on those ones, and I'll keep that short. Pick your article for completely, and okay. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time. Appreciate you being there, and so let's call it an evening today.
Thank
Good
you to
night.
the
Thank you
audience.
again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much to the audience, yes, for joining. And we'll keep it next week, Monday, 7 to 8 p.m. And we'll see you there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.